for the coaching hour. Hello, hello. I'm Paul Rotherham. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this. Today, I'm coming to you from Weed Eater Central. Huh? What? Yes, my next door neighbors are weed eating the garden. So if you hear a strange noise in the background, it's not my stomach, it's the weed eater. Although I must confess, ladies, I'm quite excited because if they're doing the weed eating, that means that spring is not too far away. That or it's the rain that we had in Johannesburg over the last week or so that has just completely confused everybody. Anyway, my next door neighbors are doing the garden. And on that note, I welcome you to this, a very playful edition of the Coaching Hour. Why? Well, I'm going to allow Mareka to explain. Good morning, hello, welcome, Mareka.
Hi, Paul, and hi, everyone. It's so nice to have you. Yes, we have Liezl Thom with us as a guest once again today. It's been way too long since we actually talked to you. She is a master multiple brain integration coach and master transformation coach. And as Paul mentioned, we're talking about the power of play today. Welcome, Liezl. So nice to have you.
Thank you, Mareka. It's always fun to share space with you guys.
Yes. Before we get into the topic, tell us quickly, who's Liezl, your journey that brought you to this topic, and why are you passionate about talking about the power of play, or why is it important in your life?
Mareka, I've been a coach for 15 years, and over those 15 years, I have noticed that people who have more fun, who have a lightness of being, seem to do a lot better than people who take their lives so seriously and stop having fun, stop playing. We are hardwired, firstly for connection, but also for playing. There's a structure in your midbrain that is called a play circuit. These play circuits make all mammals want to play. If you go in nature and you watch any mammal, you will see, especially when they're young, there's a lot of play, there's a lot of movement and fun. But we as humans, as we grow older, we seem to think that we should stop having fun.
There's a lovely saying that I heard some time ago. I'm going to throw it in here, even though I mentioned it before we started recording. And that is that they say you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. And I think now is a good time to define play. What is play, Liezl?
Paul, anything that makes your body feel excited and joyful can be considered as play. Play is not something that is frivolous and involve role playing like we did as children, playing teacher or shop or whatever. Play is something that has movement in it, an intention to have fun, and creativity.
So sport play.
Sport is a form of play, and play does not have set perimeters. Anything that you want to regard as play, anything that makes you feel positive, excited, and create that movement in your body can be considered play. There are no fixed perimeters.
I think one of the things that I experience that most people do is because there's no time, in inverted commas, our hobbies, for example, is the first thing that we put aside because that's a form of, bringing a certain sense of, fulfillment to our life, but then we don't make time for those things. Why do you believe it's so important to have more fun?
But I just want to add on to what you were saying. And when you put time in inverted commas, I felt this little jolt because that is the absolute truth. When something is important for us, we create time for it. And that is one of the things that we as adults who have these serious lives and have jobs and all kinds of responsibilities, that is something that we need to do. We need to create time for play, for fun. And it doesn't have to be hours and hours on end. You can have fun in 2 minutes. In fact, it can take 30 seconds for you to have fun. It's an attitude. It's a lightness of being. This morning, when I was thinking about our conversation, I was thinking, for me, singing is play because I love singing. And you can sing while you do anything. Well, most things. You can't sing while you're having a very serious conversation with 4 professionals. But those little times in between, we can use them to have fun and to play. And many of our daily routine tasks we can gamify. Gamification is a way to incorporate more play into your life. If you're not sure what gamification is, let me give you this example. Say you need to unpack the dishwasher. Now you can approach it with an attitude of, I have to do this. It's one of my to-do things, and approach it as something not fun. Or you can set yourself a timer or ask your children to come help you and see who can do it the fastest. That is a way of gamification. Making routine things into games is a way of incorporating fun into our daily routines.
I just had this vision in our home. We've got a dishwasher in the laundry, and I just had this vision of having a game where you just open all the cupboards and you just throw everything from the dishwasher, and you just see how much of it lands in the place that it should in the cupboard and how much of it breaks on the floor. And then
Paul, and
obviously for extra added fun, the bonus round of fun is that you give your kids a dustpan and broom and they have to clean it all up. There you go. And then
I
you get more
love that.
as well, because that evening you have to go out and buy more crockery.
Yes.
It sounds like a Greek theme.
I'm going to try
Yeah.
that today. I hope you're watching this, Zena. Please
Oh,
come past
wow.
via the home store. Sorry, I just had this vision. Anyway, back to being serious. Actually, no, this isn't serious. We're supposed to be having.
Exactly.
If I play a game on my phone, is that fun? I mean, I know
Or
it's fun. It's fun as in there's some sort of endorphin. Otherwise, people wouldn't spend so many hours doing it. But does that fall into our box of play?
absolutely. And that's a very good question. If you are playing because it makes you feel good and it makes you feel excited and positive, then yes. Unfortunately, with these devices of ours, there is an addictive component. Once you start doing it out of habit, once you do it because the monkey in your mind says you have to do this, then it stops being fun. And then I am not 100% convinced that we can regard it as play.
You can change the game.
Absolutely. Change the game. Do something that makes you feel excited again.
Why is that movement? Because you mentioned movement a few times, and I think that is one of the key things to playing, because sitting on your phone and playing a game is one thing, but why is the movement part important?
Marika, emotions are energy in motion.
Motion.
So when we have movement in our bodies, we also create room for the emotions to lighten up. When we sit still, we know it's very bad for our bodies to sit still the whole time. We know we have to get up and move a lot more. And one of the benefits of play, of having fun, is that health component. It has physical benefits for us to play and have fun.
And I think it's important to, laugh more. And I guess that's why you get therapists that focuses on laugh therapy. I don't know if any of you have ever done that before. It's quite interesting.
Yeah,
It is fun.
I
love
dabbled in it. I must say
Yes.
it's not for me. I found it a little bit forced, I think is a word, but
Hey,
there's no
you've
doubt
got
that
it.
it is contagious because you find
It
yourself
is.
laughing when other people laugh. But to get it going, I find it's a little bit of an unnatural process.
Do you
Paul,
feel like a
I beg your
sorry,
pardon?
Mary, that is very important, because when we are not used to having fun, when we are in this rut of taking our lives so very seriously, of being overwhelmed by responsibility, when we start incorporating fun, when we schedule our fun, and that sounds a bit like a paradox, doesn't it? It does feel a little bit forced. But to just take a little bit of a step back, we know that children laugh between 300 and 400 times, I think, is the figure that's being bandied about. And we know that adults laugh not even a tenth of that.
Is that
So,
daily?
yes, that's daily. Thanks, Paul. Um, so incorporating laughter, and mechanical laughter, if it has to be, and you mentioned it feels forced. Mary, you asked if it feels fake. I do think that sensation feels fake. However, the physical benefits for your body are still being reaped, even if you fake it. And I think that goes back to uh, the attitude of fake it until you make it.
Mm, mm. And being a multiple brain integration coach, if that's the correct
It is.
term, what's the importance of, playing and laughter if we look at our body, if you look at the brain? So maybe you can explain how those two come together.
Okay. The multiple brain integration theory goes that we do not only have a cephalic brain, obviously we have the brain. In multiple braining, it's called the cephalic brain. But our hearts and our guts can also be seen as brains, because they both have neurons and they both send neurotransmitters. And when these three brains are in alignment, when they are working together, then we find more flow and balance in our lives. Because we have these play circuits in our cephalic brain, and because our heart is our emotional brain, and our gut is where, so each of these brains has its own function, and the function of the gut is that's where your core identity is stored. It is where your self-preservation is seated, and it is where your movement
gut feeling?
is seated. When you have fun, all three these brains come into alignment spontaneously. So when we are not overthinking it, when we are not thinking about what we are doing, the body takes over. And so many people think that emotions are felt in your head. Emotions are felt in your body. You feel a physical sensation that is connected to a thought. So when we bring our three brains into alignment, life becomes easier, it becomes smoother, and it becomes much more fun.
Mm. Would you say that
Ah,
because of the environments that we find ourselves in, that we in fight or flight mode most of the time?
Marika, unfortunately, that is where many people find themselves. Now, our bodies has a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system, and those two need to be in balance. The sympathetic nervous system is where the fight or flight is seated. We have to balance that with the parasympathetic nervous system's rest and digest. Now, many people think that fight or flight is not necessarily a good thing, that it's bad for your body. It's not. We were designed to have that sympathetic nervous system response. The problem is when it becomes chronic, when we carry on letting the sympathetic nervous system run our entire body for extended periods of time without
Yeah.
giving the parasympathetic nervous system the opportunity to take over and let us just breathe and relax.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's, to me, the most important factor, of incorporating fun in our life, because the situations we cannot control, but we somehow need to support our bodies and our health, within the environments that we find ourselves in.
Marika, I just want to add on to what I've just said, because breath is one of the best tools to activate either your sympathetic or your parasympathetic nervous system. When we breathe in, our sympathetic nervous system takes charge. And when we breathe out, it is the turn of the parasympathetic nervous system. So you will find that when you are stressed, you breathe in a lot faster and more than what
Shallow.
you breathe out. Yes, shallow. Thanks, Mary. So when you realize that I am in the state where my sympathetic nervous system is dominant, it's so easy. All you do is you make your out breath longer than your in breath. And you can gamify that too, because playing with your breath and figuring out what each method of breathing does to your body is a very interesting game.
Mm.
Yeah. I'd like to say something about that. That game and fun has done amazing things in my workshops. And I used it for family. When I had a nephews and nieces that came from Texas, and I hadn't seen them for 6 years. And I invited them for lunch, and I thought, what am I going to do with them? I mean, they've all grown up. How am I going to get them to connect, And I decided to do art with stone art. So I got all that preparation of stone art, paintbrushes, you name it, they're ready. So when they arrived, we all greeted, and then I said, then I showed them, you guys can sit here and you can do whatever you like with the art. You can paint things on the stones. You can do whatever you like. Do you know, it was such amazing connection. They didn't want to leave. The connection, when you have fun, it's connection.
Mary,
Hey?
exactly. Connection is one of the benefits of play and fun. There are several benefits. The first one I think we kind of know about, the stress reduction, but there's also increased energy, because when you create that movement, you create energy. There's improved physical fitness, especially if your play is something like a sport. It's also very good for your cephalic brain. It enhances cognitive function. Play also can relieve pain. When we play, endorphins are released, and endorphins are the body's natural painkiller. But play can also distract you from pain. It obviously improves your mood. And then, as you've just said, Mary, and thank you for that, play enhances social connection. And that social connection, again, has a lot of benefits, including stress reduction and improved mood.
I was just wondering, Mary, when am I going to receive an invitation to come to your place to get stoned?
I'll remember to put you on the list, Paul. I didn't know you interested in stoning.
Well, I'll take anything. It's all about having fun, isn't it?
Oh, you're funny.
Where were we?
No, but it is. I mean, that stone art is amazing, because their creativity comes out, and they think out the box. It just activates something in the brain. It's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's color, and it's just Yeah. You must try it with your
Something
kids, Marika.
I should
You must try it
definitely.
with your kids, 'cause it will also
Mm,
help them with their homework and everything. They'll be less stressed.
that's a good idea. uh, Liesl, and the other benefit, of laughing, for example, there's a lot of research actually where people, while there is some research on actual people that healed themselves through, for example, watching comedy,
Mm.
while being sick. So there's something to that.
Yeah, that
Marika,
is true.
at the end of the day, oh, I sound like a politician, but everything is energy. Every single thought,
Yeah.
every word, every action is energy. And it's the
Even
type
money.
of energy, where this energy falls on the scale, you can say, that makes the difference. And fun and play brings us a lot closer to the energy of joy. Joy
Yeah.
is, for me, it's one of the most important principles in my life. I make a point of it, of making sure that I incorporate joy into my life every day because it makes me feel good. And again, it's about what do we feel in our bodies.
Mm.
I'm just thinking, Liezl, there's no harm in making this a conscious thing where we all have diaries and appointments and schedules. There's no harm in actually physically diarizing it, however many times it is a day that you think you can squeeze it in, say, right, this is my fun slot for the next 20 minutes or for the next 5 minutes or for the next 30 seconds or whatever it might be. And perhaps write down some ideas of what fun means to you, because I think fun can be very different for all of us. Some people love gardening, and for them, 20 minutes in the garden would be incredible. Other people don't have green fingers and would hate to be in a garden. So perhaps, I don't know, playing a card game, playing patience, or doing a crossword puzzle or something might be their source of joy. But something like that, surely that would be a good way of almost forcing us to have fun.
Well, scheduling fun is one of the easiest ways to incorporate it into your life. We have to make fun a priority. We have to look for the fun in every day. And if we have to put a reminder on our phone every hour to do something that takes our attention away from our day-to-day existence and just lighten it up, that can already make a difference. Marika, you mentioned hobbies earlier. Hobbies are a very good way of incorporating fun into your life. And Paul, as you said, for some people, gardening is lots of fun. For others, it's more a punishment. So find what makes your body sing, find what makes you happy, and then look for as many ways as possible to incorporate that into your life. Another way of bringing that fun element into our lives, and this is something that when we have jobs and we tell ourselves the story that we don't have time, we neglect too much. Going out into nature. Nature is the ultimate playground. That is where we can have that connection, because ultimately, as much as it might sound that like we are just talking light and airy and fluffy, fun can have a profound spiritual effect on your life.
I've seen it with my cats. We've got 8 cats here at home. One of them, Blue, is turning 22 this year, which is quite old for a cat. And I had a look online, and 22 in cat years is, I think, about 110, 115, the equivalent in
Wow.
human years. And I tell you, this cat, for all that he's getting old and he is getting a bit lazy, especially in the Joburg winters, sometimes he behaves like a kitten. He all of
Yes.
a sudden, for no reason that I can see, obviously he's a cat and I don't speak cat, but he will literally sprint around the garden like a crazed animal. He'll dive onto the dining room table. Sometimes I sort Lego on my dining room table and I put on a towel. And when I've removed the Lego, there's just the towel sitting there. He will dive onto the dining room table and ruffle around this towel like he's having a wrestling match with it. And you can see he's just having fun. He's not trying to ward off a predator or demand food, or he's not being attacked by one of the other cats. He's just having fun. And it really is heartwarming. And I think nature, aside from the fact that nature reflects what it means to have fun, I think for us, being part of that, him having fun, Blue, the Siamese cat having fun, in turn gave me joy by watching it. So for me to sit at the koi pond with a cup of tea or to just stroke an animal, that for me, I would also define as fun. It brings me joy. It makes me happy. In fact, so much so that I can't get out of bed in the morning because I'm surrounded by cats. And as we all know, they're like little furry hot water bottles. So I think you can find it in the most surprising places. Once you're aware of what it is to find fun, you'll suddenly realize probably how much fun you're finding already, but you aren't aware of it.
That's
Yes,
why
and it's
Blue are
also
aging so gracefully.
I beg your pardon?
I said that's why Blue is aging so gracefully. He's having fun.
Because he's playing. Absolutely. Yeah, very much so.
And it comes back to what you said earlier, Paul, that we don't stop having fun because we grow old. We grow old because we stop having fun. My father is in his 80s. He doesn't know that because he has fun. I know people who are a lot younger in biological years than my dad, because so they were a lot younger than him, but they are older. They look old. You know, that's one of the things when you start having fun, when you start incorporating fun into your life, there's this idea of aging backwards. You can see which people around you are joyful and have fun and which people don't. And when you say, when you look at Blue having fun, it creates that sense of fun in your body. That is absolutely one of the things that happen to all people except psychopaths, because we have these mirror neurons that reflect in our bodies what we are seeing around us. So the more you see things that are positive, upbuilding, and fun, the more you're going to feel that energy in your body.
Very good. Wise words.
Very true. Any final words, Liezl, that you want to leave with everyone listening today that realizes that there's not enough fun in their life?
Marijke, we all know how to have fun. We do not have to define fun for ourselves. We know what makes us feel good. It is in our bodies. Trust your body. Your body knows what it likes and what it doesn't like. But we are so used to ignoring the signals from our bodies. We are so used to thinking that this is who we are, that only the thoughts we have are important, not the sensations in our bodies. I want to tell you, thoughts are just stories, and a thought only becomes your truth when you believe that it is your truth. Thoughts can come and go, but the sensation in your body is having a very real effect on your being and on your health. So we all know stress is bad for us. One of the best antidotes to stress is to have as much fun as possible.
Very true. Thank you so much, Liezl.
Sorry, I was going to say, this has been a really fun podcast today, a fun edition of the Coaching Hour. So thank you for that, Liezl.
You're so welcome. It was fun to be back with you guys.
Lovely.
Definitely.
We will leave it there then today. Marijke, you'll put all the details in the description of this video, which will be on Facebook, and then The podcast, of course, will be going out on our channels. All of that information you can find on the Coaching Hour, as this show is brought to you in partnership with Coaches Network South Africa. Is that it? Are we finished now? No more fun. Now we have to be serious for a bit.
Unfortunately.
Oh.
I'm gonna go have some fun now. Put on some music, maybe dance for 5 minutes.
Please video
do
that.
some brain gym.
Yes.
There's a lot of beautiful brain gyms.
Awesome. I'm going to make a cup of tea. That's fun. And then work. And having said that, I think finding something that you enjoy as a career or as a job choice is so important. And we won't go into that now, but we've almost created this idea, I think, in this episode that if you're working, you're not having fun. And I think that's very untrue. You know, there are certain things that I do to earn a living that I absolutely love, and they are just as fun as when I'm having fun. So if you can have fun and be paid for having fun, what a pleasure. There you go. Wise words from me, not. Thank you for joining us, ladies. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we look forward to your company in the next edition of the Coaching Hour. Bye. Go and have fun.